This is my friend Juicioso. And Juicioso means the wise guy. Well, wise, when I think about wise, I should expect a horse that's very wise and very calm, very self-assured. Well, self-assured in a way he is, but calm. Well, I can't exactly say that he's calm. So what I'm experimenting to create more calmness on him. But before I continue, I have to be honest that I also have to learn. It's not only about him; it's about me. So I'm practicing many things, things that inspire me, all kinds of things. And we were busy on this double lunging. I did it one time more early, and then I discovered that he was very nervous about the lines against his body. So I've got a working issue to work on that. When you're dealing with horses, it's not only about them, it's also about us. It's even perhaps more about us. Because if you cannot if you're not able to be calm yourself, it's impossible to increase calmness on the horse. Many trading things are focused on I'm going to learn animal something, and that's true, we are learning, but I think the most important things are two things: cooperation and trust. I have to trust him, he has to be able to trust me with everything I have in my hands. Okay. Asking a horse, inviting a horse to come to you is very easy. I don't use food, I use contact. And I think that's the most important part of being together with horses. We know many things about bones, about muscles, and nowadays modern people are almost vets. They know everything. But I have the tendency to say that we don't know much about the psychology. To me, the psychology is the foundation of being together with a horse. It's all about psychology. A horse that is feeling himself well, feeling himself good, is a healthy horse, and he will be cooperative. Why is he cooperative? Because they want to relate on us. He just saw me move these lines against his body, and I'm doing it so I can help him and explain him by doing. I can read him stories as much as I want. He will not understand, but he will understand in practicing these things, practicing these lines against his body. Somehow he was not sure about it. I also have to explain to you that this is a breed. This is a Pura Raza Española, PRE, or in Spain they call it Pura Raza, which are horses of a high temperament. They are not compatible with quarter horses or Friesians or whatever breed. These are horses of high-tempered. People sometimes call them nervous or say they are molested. Well, that doesn't have to be the issue. They're just very open and they're very warm-blooded. I think the name Pura Raza is a very good name for these horses, because I do agree that they are very, very pure. And that's what I like a lot about horses, that they stay pure and that they respond like a horse. To me, that's one of the most important things in cooperating with a horse. I want to know how he feels, how he thinks. This horse, Juicioso, is at this moment 7 years of age. He's a stallion, but that doesn't matter. And he has the tendency to get too nervous about things. And I also noticed that he got nervous about the lines. Now I let him trot, and I do it so he can get rid of the fear hormones, which definitely he got into his body. By letting a horse walk, he can deal with his emotions. He can get himself more together. That's also the thing in riding. If there's something happening, sometimes you just have to go forward, forward, forward. That's where the solution is. People stop, and well, that's good when you are riding a car. But these are horses. These are animals who are feelings. Okay, now I'm practicing the hold and working on these two lines. I've seen many people do it on a bit. I'm not against bit. I also ride with a bit, but I'm definitely against abuse of the bit. And that's why I choose to work on a stable halter, because I know that the effect of pulling a little bit is just as much and more soft with a stable halter. Ah, there he goes. Now he's a little bit afraid. I just pulled it and now he gets nervous. Then they walk higher on their legs, ready to. So I have to learn myself to stay calm, stay easy, don't get angry, don't get excited, just let him go and try to increase the calmness. Well, you can see he's not calm yet. He needs some time to get over it, and that's no problem, as long as I don't make a problem of anything. It's like fear. When I'm afraid and he's afraid, well, that's double fear, so you have to prevent this. So I let him come to me, because he's also very, very focused on me, and I tell him he's a great guy. And now you can see his head going down. Now he's more or less accepting. Okay, there's nothing to be afraid of. I'm not afraid. So I'm praising him, and I think this is the psychological part which I miss on many movies or many things I see in practice also. I call it the follow-up. Make sure, tell the horse that he's a good guy. Okay, I just did something with the rein to make him walk. Follow up, and to me, this follow up, this telling the horse every time that we have this break. Oh, that's a nice hold. Every time that we have this break, tell the horse that he's a great guy. He's fine, or she. Doesn't matter with what you work. Okay, this is nice. In the beginning of this movie, I was explaining about that I also have to learn, and that's true. I have to learn to work with these two long reins, and I have to be careful with it, and I also have to find a proper way to make him walk, because he can do all kinds of things. Now he's a little bit scared. Oh dear. Is this abuse? No. A little bit of fear is never abuse. It can be very, very functional. The only thing you have to be careful with is how you deal with fear. That's what I call the follow-up. So now I'm telling him, it's not on the video. That's the bad thing of making these movies on my own. Now I'm telling him that he's okay. There's nothing to happen. There's nothing to fear for. He's very, very, very much focused, and that's a character of him, very much focused on, how do I say it? Preventing fights. He doesn't want to fight. He feels really awful when he does something wrong. And that's, well, it's typical the breed. It's also the breed. The Spaniards bred a horse which is so open and so communicative towards people that I think they did a great job. Okay, this is better. You can see on his face, and that's the psychological part, that he's not he's not completely convinced that there's nothing bad happening. So I'm telling him again, he's a nice guy, because I want this psychological connection, and I lower his head. I don't feed him. I let him smell on the food. That's a little bit different, because I also am focused on preventing bad behavior. And if you feed them all the time, they can increase this bad behavior. I don't want it. So I'm connecting. I want him to feel proud. I want him to stay with me. I have to look at how do I explain him. You have to stand there and walk. All kinds of things. And now I'm a little bit teasing him with, and he's, that's a nice response. I like those response, but because this response gives me, tells me that he doesn't care. I think I'm feeding him now. I'm not sure. Never mind. What I mean is biomechanics, bones, muscles. It doesn't matter where they are. If a horse is healthy, he's healthy. He can walk properly, and this horse has a magnificent movement. Foundation, the cockpit of the horse is in the head. And if you focus on the head, you can make a proud horse. You can make a horse which is happy to work with you. And that's my goal. only my goal to have a good relationship, to be able to work. Oh dear, oh dear. Now I'm now I'm in trouble with the two lines. That's also for me a very good reason not to work on the bit. Just work on a simple stable halter, because stable halter is will not hurt. I don't like the use of rope halters because they're too sharp and there are nuts and stuff like that. So I want the softest thing I can find, so we can both learn how to do this trick, whatever you want to call it, training, I don't care how you call it. I want cooperation, I want trust. And if I trust myself, then I can tell him that I am reliable. Ah, that's a nice way to walk away from me. So those are things which I think are very important. It's not about the biomechanic, it's not about the training, it's about the cooperation, the trust. Get related, tell him that he's a fine horse, and well, just enjoy the moment of being together. I'm going to say something. It wasn't so bad. I don't know if you could have seen it, but one time I used a real food reward, and the second time I used the smell, only the smell. I gave my hand so he could smell, so he can lower his head. I'm going to change direction, and you will be amazed that to him, and that's because of he's a horse, it's completely different. You will see. Okay.